It's another beautiful day, and this is Tarantino News coming at you live from Universal Headquarters in conjunction with Unity the Movement.world. And we're so happy to be here today. It's such a lovely day. Uh, there's nothing like waking up and experiencing another chance to get this thing right, or a little bit better than the day before. So as we close out the year, close out the decade, there are definitely some things that we don't want to carry with us into the new year. And I'll tell you for certain, there are some things that we don't want to carry into the new decade. If we are of a certain age, we should have some things figured out by now, namely and mainly who we are. What do we desire out of life? Where are we going? What do we desire to be? Things of that nature. So we may have collected data and info, and we know what we need, and we have a pretty good handle on what we don't. So let's make a concerted effort not to take those things that we have identified not needing. Let's not take those things into the new year. Let's leave them behind in the 20 teens, and let's take into these 2020s only the things that we need. And what I will refer to us as some things we may need that, they pose challenges to us. Those things are called necessary burdens. Okay, so we may have to take a few necessary burdens into this new decade. We may have to take a few necessary burdens into this new year. But an unnecessary burden, it's time for us to bring out those scissors and cut that loose. I'll give you a very quick example of a necessary burden. A necessary burden would be like a homeless man's jacket in the middle of the summertime. So the jacket is a burden because it's hot outside. He's carrying around all day long. But the jacket is necessary because he's using that jacket as a pillow or a blanket overnight. So he needs the jacket, but he's got to put up with the jacket during the daytime. So the heaviest thing that we need to be carrying into this next decade, the heaviest things that we need to carry into this next year are our necessary burdens. But weights and unnecessary burdens, we need to leave them. We need to drop them off Friday before that ball drops. Let's not take unnecessary burdens into the new decade. Let's not take unnecessary burdens into the new year. I've always been taught, and I learned, and I've garnered information and gained wisdom throughout the years. And one principle that was asserted to me early on in life, I'm not sure if you call it a pun, but it may be a pun. But it's when, two separate words sound the same and they're not spelled the same. But one thing that I learned a long time ago is a walking prophet is walking profit. So a walking prophet being PROPHET is walking profit, which would be PROFIT. Okay, so a walking prophet is walking profit. And I know a lot of times people get caught up in how they're going to make money. How am I going to live off of what I'm doing or the way I choose to live out my days? How is that going to make me money because I need money because I need this and I need that? Okay, so when you have that attitude of that need for money or being conscious of cash flow, understand that a walking prophet is a walking prophet. So tap into the best parts of yourself. That's the encouragement today. Tap into the best parts of yourself. Tap into the righteous parts of yourself. And your righteousness will only get you so far. But you must tap into those parts of yourself, because those are the parts that produce fruit. Those are the productive parts of yourself. Those are the things, righteousness, right, and things that have righteous components. Those are the things that will withstand the test of time. Those are the things that will lead you and lead us to making wise decisions. So if we were to actually strive to be holy, if we were to actually strive to be righteous, doing the right things, and quickly on righteousness, quick. Righteousness is three things. Righteousness is first doing the right thing. Then second, righteousness is saying the right things. And then third, righteousness is thinking the right things. Righteousness obviously has to begin with action, because God is real, but God, he'll be a little bit more patient with you than man will. So man, if you do the wrong thing, you could be locked up forever or executed. So your righteousness may fail you quicker through your actions. So we always, when they say train a child and things of that nature, first thing you got to do is get a handle on their behavior. Okay? Then you can get a handle on their speech next. That's why the second part of righteousness is saying the right thing. Certain people in this life, they can get away with saying anything. And if you don't believe that, just go to a check cashing store. Somebody act a certain way in the check cashing store, the police will be there in the parking lot before they spin outside the store. But certain people, they can go inside the store and talk bad to everybody in there, and then just walk off a certain way, walking like certain people walk, get in their car, and then keep on rolling. So that second barometer of righteousness in terms of our speech, you could get a little bit more flexibility in this society. So the second thing you want to patch up is your words. I'll just talk about Jesus real fast. He was so cold that his deeds were not to be questioned. So people would try to set him up in conversation so they could catch him up in his words. So that's what the second thing they went to, that second part of righteousness. And that's the things that we say. Now, that third part of righteousness is thinking the right things. Now, why do we say that for last? Well, obviously, you save it for last because the last shall be first. So not only is it holds significance because it's the last one, but it may just be most important, because the things that we think, really define who we really are. But the things that we think also are only between us and God for the most part, and those people that we choose to share our innermost thoughts. If you can ever remember the old Batman movie, the Penguin had him, Oswald Cobblepot. He had him, but Batman had recorded his thoughts before he made a certain speech. So every time he walked up to the mic, Batman played his thoughts. His thoughts were that he wasn't sincere with Gotham City. He was really taking advantage of Gotham City so he could become the mayor and do evil things. So every time Oswald Cobblepot got up to the mic to speak, Batman played his thoughts over the loudspeakers, and by the people being exposed to his thoughts, Batman was able to bring down the Penguin. So those thoughts, they will turn on us, especially if we decide to allow the wrong people inside of our mental warehouse. So righteousness is doing the right thing, saying the right thing, and thinking the right thing. And I said, God is a little bit more patient with us than humans. So getting those thoughts under subjection, it takes a little while, but we can do it if we stay persistent on righteousness. If we think about, I'm trying to be profitable, okay? I want to eat. That's what people say. I'm trying to eat out here. We got to eat. We got to get this money. Don't focus on the money. Focus on righteousness. Focus on you being the focal point of righteousness. That's why that prophet is so important. Where is righteousness? Oh, there it is right there. In that man or in that lady. We know we can go to them because they're going to shoot us straight and they're going to try their very best to lead us in the right direction. And most of the time, like a E40 saying, everything they say is going to be concrete. And you know everything you say will not be concrete if you're not guided by a spirit that's older than you. You know, a spirit that was here before you showed up, and a spirit that was here before you showed up in the flesh. Because you were here in spirit before you got here in flesh. And then a spirit being led by a spirit that will be here after you leave here in the flesh. That's the spirit that you have to follow in terms of being a walking prophet. You know, I can tell you about yesterday. I didn't have to be here. You know, the spirit that I'm connected with was here. So I can report live from Universal headquarters, or I can report live from the stoop, or I can report live from under the tree. And I can talk about anything that you fathom or imagine, because the spirit that guides me predates time, and the spirit that guides me postdates time. If you ever think about the Lord in terms of who he is, the Bible will tell you, and great books will all tell you, that God is the beginning and the end. But the books will also tell you that God is everlasting to everlasting. So if you think that the end is a stopping point, then the great books will let you know, even beyond that stopping point, there still is God, because there is everlasting that bridges the gap between the end and the beginning. So not only is God the beginning and the end, God is always. So if you could tap into that spirit, there is nothing that anybody could ever bring up that you couldn't touch, on, and lead and leave a little bit more light on a certain situation. That's what we're talking about. A walking prophet is walking prophet. Look at the scriptures, look at the holy books, look at the timeless manuscripts, and you'll see if there is no prophet around, even if it's from another religion, they'll keep that guy or that lady around, because they always need a seer. They need somebody who knows more than what appears. And you know, people will compromise religion to stay attached to a prophet. You know, and I've seen this on several accounts. What you keep him around for? Oh, because he or she knows more than we have access to. So that's that walking prophet. That's what we all are to aspire to be, prophets. Give you one more little thing. It is God's will that all his children would prophesy. So what does that mean? It's God's will that all of us will be paid. Now, I'm not saying using your talent and using your skill as a trade-off for money, but with what you have, or that rare gift, the universe will compensate you. And prophecy will lead you into believing and trusting and hoping more, and being certain that your steps are ordered and that you will be rewarded and compensated for showing the discipline of harnessing that spirit. Because it takes a lot of discipline not to take advantage of your gifts and use them for negativity, use them for darkness, use them for guilty pleasures and things of that nature. So God, you know, that great beyond, appreciates a human housing righteousness and a human housing holiness, to the point that that's why I'm saying the universe will make sure you'll stay compensated, because it takes a great deal of discipline for a human to house a Holy Spirit, or for a human to house a righteous spirit or a righteous mind and things of that nature. You know, the universe will conspire against anything that opposes righteousness to show you and lead you into the ways of production and productivity. Now, so that walking prophet is walking prophet. And then one thing that I did understand is that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So now prophecy is so simple. And that's why, you know, like, I'll just start with the word Muslim. Muslim means one who strives to be upright. That's all the word Muslim means. Okay, and I'm not just talking about Muslim, I'm talking about anybody who doesn't believe in Christ. But I'll just talk about Muslims right now. Muslim means one who strives to be upright. So the most avid Christian in some kind of category would be considered a Muslim in a holistic approach. You know, don't be such a conventional Christian. I ain't no Muslim. I'm not trying to make you a Muslim. I'm talking about what the word means. The word Muslim means one who strives to be upright. So it seems like everybody would be Muslim to a certain degree. Okay. But what will separate you from I'm not just Muslim, I'm definitely Christian, is that it says that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So what I'm saying is this prophecy, the spirit of prophecy, a walking prophet is walking prophet. So if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, these holy scripts will tell you all you got to do is believe in Jesus and know what he did, know he lived, know he died, know he was raised from the dead, know he ascended to heaven. If you know that testimony and you can let that come out your mouth in your conversation, it's telling you that is the spirit of prophecy. So you ain't got to tell somebody what's going to happen on January the 21st when President-elect Joe Biden gets in office. Before they get down that road, you say, I'm just here to talk about Jesus. And now you have the spirit of prophecy. And now you are a walking prophet. So now it's been simplified. In order for you to get paid, but see, I can tell you you're going to get paid, because if you don't do any of these things in sincerity and in truth, none of this, what I'm talking about, is going to benefit you. So I can tell you, oh, this is how you get to the money. And I know I'm telling you the truth. You know? But if you don't apply it in sincerity and in truth, it won't work for you. So I can brag about money and brag about what you'll get. But if you're not real about it, this won't benefit you anyway. And it won't benefit you anything. So the testimony of Jesus being the spirit of prophecy means you new prophets don't have to be as exact as they were back in the day. You know, before Jesus came, where I saw a prophet had to do this. He said, the king told him, hey, I had a dream. I know I had a dream because I went to sleep. He said, I woke up and I didn't know what the dream meant. And I can't remember the dream. Okay, so the king woke up. He said, I was dreaming. All right. I can't remember the dream. And not only can I not remember the dream, I don't know what the dream meant. Okay, so let's just go in the other order. The king wakes up. He says, I had a dream. I don't know what it means. And they said, what did you dream? He said, I cannot remember. So then, as the story goes, he calls a certain prophet. I believe the prophet name is Daniel, but he calls a certain prophet to him, and he says, you a prophet. I went to sleep. I had a dream. I don't know what the dream means, and I can't remember what the dream was. But if you don't tell me what I dreamed and what that dream meant, I'm going to kill you. Because you said you're supposed to be a prophet. So now I'm telling us, that's why I'm saying, you can fight Christianity all you want. You want to do something outside of Christianity, be established. Look how hard that is. You know, look how exact you got to be. If the man is really putting that pressure on you, now all you got to do to be a prophet is remember what happened to Jesus. Say that. Now you're a prophet. Remember that. Now you're a prophet. Put that in your heart. Now you're a prophet. And you guaranteed to stay paid. But before Jesus, this is the kind of testing, the kind of rigors that prophets had to withstand. You know, telling folks the meaning of their dream, and telling folks exactly what they dream. So come up with the dream and the translation, or you're gonna die. Because if you tell me what I dreamed and that just didn't feel like what I dreamed, I'm just gonna kill you. So you better be really bringing my memory all the way back, extra crispy. Okay. So if we could get to that point in our lives where we can understand that the magnitude of just doing the right thing. And now I'll be making the point that I intended to make from the beginning. Before I even got into prophecy and walking prophet and getting paid, I was just thinking about the beginning of a new decade and thinking about the end of this current decade, going from year to year. So, have you ever seen somebody that's considered, or anything, not even a person? Have you ever seen something that's very good, worshiping something that's good? Or have you ever seen somebody that's good, or no, somebody that's very good, following in behind somebody that's good? Something that's very good, being led by something that's good. And that's what a human is without his or her priorities in order. Okay. If we put things and possessions above ourselves and our fellow man, that's what they mean by priorities being out of order. That's the same as something that's very good being led by something that's good. You'll never reach your full potential, because one thing that most people can agree on is that humans came last in terms of things that popped up, out of the ground and walked the earth. I don't think you have to really be of a certain religion to realize that, leaves are older than people, or animals are older than people, or water is older than people. Sunlight, things of that nature. Most times people, no matter what kind of religious background they come from, they can agree on the point that of all the things on the earth, mankind is like the youngest parts of things that's on this earth. For lack of a better words at this time, from the things that have been created, man is some of the newest, parts of creation. But what God said in terms of creation and in terms of the things that were created, he categorized all those things as good. He created a fish, and whatever day they say he created a fish, he said, "Oh, this is good." He said, "God said it was good," and then they might say something like, "And the evening and the morning was whatever day this was. He created the fish." So whatever day he created green herbs and vegetation and forestation and trees and things of that nature, he said it, and God said it was good. I think he might even said the light was good. Let there be light, and the light was, good. So, but all the way down until the day, I believe it was day 6. I think there was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called The Sixth Day, where they were creating men. So the day that God created man, the 6th day, I believe the 7th day he rested, but the last thing he created, in terms of something we can see tangibly, because I can see, rest, and feel it. But in terms of he created tangibly human being. When he made the human being, he said, "Now this is very good." Okay, so I've already kind of thrown a hole in our approach in terms of not believing in Jesus. Now I'm throwing an even bigger hole in our approach in terms of not believing in God. God has already put the man, the woman, the human at the top of what he considers dear. He considers humans very good. So why would a human be like Prince Akeem on the subway? Why would a human renounce his or her throne? Why would you be made very good and everything else on the whole planet is good. And why would you put those things above you? Why would you set your possessions above yourself? Why would you let a certain goal of acquiring a certain thing? Why would you put that above, your rest, your comfortability, your peace? You are human. You designed to be taken care of. You designed to have a throne, have a carriage, have some slippers, have a crown. You designed to take it easy. But there's something called a rat race. There's something called always pushing. You hear these creeds. Man, we stay on the grind. What you grinding for? You just think about if it was the 8th day, or even 2020 right now, about to be done. And you talk to God, he said, man, yeah, I'm grinding, still on the grind. I think God set it in motion in 7 days. And so if you met me like, man, I ain't grinded since the 7th day. It's been done. I'm done with this. So that's how we have to be. Especially most humans, because most time when I hear about folks that's really balling, they say these people are only 1%. This is the 1%. And most folks go under the category of the 99%. So mostly the 99%, all you have to do is get your head above water, and you can set up shop with a throne, with a castle, with a carriage, with slippers, with a crown. You can set it up for the rest of your life just by getting your head above water. Because the cost of living for you is not as high, because you from places with basically, low cost of living. So why would you allow yourself to be blessed beyond what it takes to live where you're from, and then leave that place and move to a place where you need 10 times as much money as you did from the place you departed from? The hood is not that bad, especially when you know everybody in the hood. So why would you leave? They know you. Most of the time people in the hood, they hit licks on folks that are slipping, folks they don't know, folks that don't know where they congregate and sometimes cower. But the way that we have processed information, we forfeit being very good just to be good. You're not going to have the budget or the time if you leave these lands and these places God has placed you in. He like, you might think you really poor. You might really think you starting from the bottom, but really you at the top, because you could buy a house in this community for a little bit of nothing. So if you hit one lick in your life, you can really buy a house. You can really downshift all the way down, pull yourself out of the rat race, and chill for the remainder of your days. A real baller. Because I saw the guy doing Sunday night football last night, and he been working for 45 years, and he got millions upon millions of dollars. But the lifestyle he leads, he got to keep on working. You think about it. I'm gonna just give you an example. I don't work, and they said that Shaq is worth almost $500 million. He's working now. He might be working because he got to get his money, but for what? He doesn't. And there's a lot of people like that. But, a lot of people put themselves in a position where they need another check. So they'll never be able to experience the peace, the tranquility, the serenity, the calm, involved in handling your business, handling it early, sitting on a throne, similar to God. Made everything in 7 days, and he didn't go back and say, I need to fix. He left that for us to question if we didn't want to trust in him. And he'll allow us to live our lives, questioning the 7 days and the creation, what about this, and all this. And he'll allow us to live our lives with that kind of stuff in our heart and die. Now, he good with what he made, and it's about time for us to be good with who we are. Embrace who we are. You know, I've heard of this thing called respect our black dollars, but are you respecting your black dollars? You know, where are you living? Where are you from? So why are you where you are? What told you you had to get up out of here? Who planted that seed in people? And this is not just a black thing. Who planted that seed in people? I got to get out of here. I got to, like the triumphant story is, I made it out. I hope you know it's preposterous. Made it out of what? And made it into what? It seems like you made it into a life of servitude, because you still, it might be $1 million check, but it's still a check and you need it to survive. You needed to maintain this way of life that you've provided for yourself. So you made it out just to put yourself back into servitude. But if you would have stayed where you were, shoot, that's what they call a generational wealth. You know, it's not the grandma who moved about the neighborhood and got her another house. This is the grandma that stayed there. And now she's been gone for 80 years, and it's a great, great, great grandchild living in that same house. That's really generational wealth. Not you leaving the neighborhood, balling for your lifespan, and then when you're gone, you know, others having to try to pick up the pieces and see what kind of life they can make for themselves from what you left behind. And they may not get a big time deal. So they may not be able to afford the things that you've garnered. So simply put, we are humans, the very best of creation. We are very good. Learn how to make it simple. Learn how to be walking prophet. We got a few things other than this, you know, and we may come right back at you with some, sports and politics, and things of that nature. But as the decade closes out, this is very important. Knowing who you are as a human and knowing your connection with what was before you and with what is beyond you. This has been TERRENTINO News, coming at you live from Universal Headquarters in conjunction with unitythemovement.world. Big shout out to the producer, keeping my head on straight and keeping his own head on straight at the same time. So I got to pick it up because he's already there. Enjoy your day.